Everyone, and good evening. Really glad that you're all here, and we are happy that you have decided to spend the next 1 hour of your time with us. This is the Talking Trade with Femi Boyede, August edition. Today is the 5th of August, and we are more than excited to bring you this edition today. We'll start with a quick rounds of introduction. You can do that in the group chat, just so we know who is here, and you can also tell us about your expectations. What are your expectations on today's webinar? As you know, the topic is towards a non-oil export-driven economy, the role of SMEDAN, the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria. And we are way more than excited and privileged to have with us the Director General, the #1 man himself, when it comes to promoting small, medium enterprises in Nigeria. I'm just going to be holding forth a bit for the anchor that many of you know very well, Lady K, as we call her, Kemi Amuso. And when she comes in, she will take it up from here. But just like I said, go to the chat section and let's have a feel of who is in the room. We already know the Director General is in the room, Mr. Olawale Fasanya. Thank you so much for joining. And we'll try to make every minute of the next 1 hour count as we discuss how non-oil export economy in Nigeria. I'm just going to take a breather here and see if Lady K is happy to jump in. Lady K?
Yes. Yes. How are you doing? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
Loud and clear.
Okay, hello everybody.
Come on, we can hear you.
Good afternoon from Canada. Good evening from other parts of the world. Thank you so very much. We are back with another edition of our wonderful program. Am I able to share my screen, please? Share.
That's right. You can go ahead, please.
Okay, just a moment. Let me share my screen. Just one quick second. Okay. You can see my screen?
Yes. Yep.
Good. Okay. So we are back again with another program, Talking Trade and Investment Program. So today's topic, my colleague has done a fantastic job before my arrival. He has introduced a program. The program today is towards a non-oil export-driven economy. That is just one quick second. Yeah, you can see my screen better now, I believe. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Kemi Amuso, your anchor for today. And our program today is towards a non-oil export-driven economy, the role of SMEDAN. The guest speaker is Director-General, Small and Medium Scale Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria. Before we bring him in, we introduce our host, the man that has been bringing us together consistently for over 1 year. Who is he? And these are his team. I will be introducing them later. So, who is Femi Boyede? He's a man with extensive experience in international trade domain. His passion is in export business development and trade promotion. He's proactive in public and private discussions on business environment. He's a multilingual. He speaks many languages, including French, English, Hausa, Lingala, Nupe, and Yoruba languages. He's the president of Konona Global Services, Inc., Canada, and chief executive officer and lead consultant of Konona Ventures Limited, Nigeria. Other organizations that he has made impact include the Nigerian Non-Oil Export Conference, Exhibition, and Awards, NNECEA Limited, GT, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, Trade and Enterprise Network, the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, and the GTA Trade Enthusiasts Network Canada. He recently relocated to Canada as a permanent resident, where as a member of the Nigerian-Canada Business Network, he endeavors to promote trade relations between Canada, the USA, and Africa with a focus on Nigeria. I have the privilege and honor of bringing Femi Boyede to please jumpstart this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lady K. I appreciate the introduction. I'm sure you all could see me blushing. If you didn't, I see me blushing on your behalf. So thanks can never be too much. When you get somebody who carries almost a significant burden of the country on his shoulders, setting aside time to rub minds with us on a Saturday, before we started at 5 p.m., we were actually challenging him for being in the office on Saturday. And of course, his response, which is very, very truthful and realistic, is that we asked him to come talk to us. And so he has to talk to our people. So on behalf of every one of you and every one of us, I'd like to appreciate the Director-General of the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, Mr. Olawale Fasanya, who will be speaking to us today. Talking trade and investment global, just a brief overview, started just a little over a year ago. Our first edition was in June 2021. The idea is education, awareness, education, sensitization, and advocacy. From our over 30 years experience playing in the industry, trade, and investment sector of several countries across the world, the recurrent decimal, a recurrent challenge has always been that of knowledge. So there always has been a knowledge gap, wherein significantly policymakers and trade support institutions are not in sync with the reality faced by the players in the field. And in the international trade, even the International Trade Center describes it as an economic battlefield where all soldiers need to be equipped. Who are the soldiers? It is you and us, the players, the micro, small, and medium enterprises. A lot of the mega multinationals already have cut their teeth. They have the huge resources required to penetrate and stay in an international market. Not so the smaller ones, depending on which country we are in. In some places, they are described as companies with less than 5 employees. In some places, they even say with less than 50 employees. So whatever it is, talking trade and investment came up to provide a platform where players and regulators and development partners could come together once in a month. And to the glory of God, we've done almost 14 editions now and still counting. We have had institutions like USAID, the West Africa Trade and Investment Hub. We have had the Nigeria Export Promotion Council. We have had speakers from, you name it, across the professions and across the world who have been taking it upon themselves. So for us, it is more like an icing again, an added feather to the profile of this event that Mr. Fasanya readily accepted to come in today as our guest speaker. We will be bringing him in shortly. Just again on behalf of the team to acknowledge you and to say congratulations on your recent appointment as the substantive Director General of the Small Medium Enterprises Agency of Nigeria. But in congratulating you, I would like to recall my first encounter with the man who became my boss, my mentor, and the one who has shaped the raw passion that I used to have. I'm talking about Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, Victoria Island, where he and the then Minister of Foreign Affairs, the late Ambassador Ashiru, had come to meet with the private sector. And he reeled out programs and programs and projects. And I was like, wow, if this man could achieve 10% of this, Nigeria would change. And that was exactly what I put to him when I was given the microphone to comment from the floor. I said, Honorable Minister, I clap for you and I offer myself free of charge to be the lead campaigner for you to be celebrated in this room in 4 years' time if you have achieved 10% of the things that you read out. I was only speaking my mind. I didn't know that caught his attention. And before I left that room, he had made the connections necessary for me to come and join the team as an advisor. So for those of you who don't know, that's how I became technical advisor. But how is it related to this? I have known Mr. Fasanya for the past 30 years, maybe a little more, and I am able to attest to the passion that you have brought to the job. I'm able to attest to the fact that you do have programs, and then I'm able to also play the angel's advocate. I don't want to be the devil's advocate, but I want to be the one that puts you on the spot to say, okay, now this challenge has been put on your shoulder. Everybody in this room, on this call today, is either very anxious to benefit from your agency, to see how the interaction that you have so willingly enabled today, to see how it will enhance their performance, their profitability, and the ease at which they do international business. But also, while I'm putting you on the spot, I want to assure you on behalf of the team, we have had this talk at a technical level that not just the technical team are talking trade, but even our members of our WhatsApp platform and other groups that are affiliated with us are very, very ready and willing to support the vision and the programs that you will be sharing with us today. Again, on behalf of the team, thank you very much for honoring us with your presence. And of course, need I say, it's going to be a very productive session, and I welcome you all who have set aside your Saturday to be on this call. Thank you. Back to you, Lady K.
Thank you so very much. Hello, can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, so just give me a moment to share my screen one more time. We are going to try to, first of all, if you notice that we are not having as many people as we are supposed to be having. We are having some technical issues with our website at the last minute. We are working on it presently as we speak, and we are putting out alternative information for people to be able to join us. However, we are live on YouTube, and this is recorded to give access to others later. Not only that, we are going to try to speed up because we know we have some time issues. Mr. Boyede, am I right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so we may not be staying as long as we normally do today, but you are still going to get all the right information that you need to get. So on this note, introducing our guest speaker today. Again, Olawale Fasanya is the Director-General, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN. Who is he? Don't be afraid, I'm not reading everything. We're going to make it available for you to see later, because I know just looking at it, you see, just 2 pages. Even at that, we had to compress it because his profile is really, really impressive. Mr. Fasanya became the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, in June this year. Proud to this, he was among the pioneer staff of the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria in 2003, where he served as a special assistant to the pioneer Director-General CEO of the agency, Mrs. Makubela Akrilacha. Some of these core accomplishments are Project Director of the implementation of the reviewed National Policy on MSME 2021 to date, Project Director of SMEDAN agency-wide 2021 to 2025, Strategic Management Planning, Head of Secretariat National Council on MSME 2011 to date, Project Director, One Local Government, One Product Initiative 2010 to 2015. Part of his affiliations include International Council for Small Business, ICSB, member International Small Business Entrepreneur, associate member Nigeria Institute of Public Relations. And some of his presentations include presentation on MSME competitiveness in Nigeria, Singapore Cooperation Program Training Award, Singapore, January 2012, presentation on SME policies and development strategy in Nigeria. Please mute yourself. Investment opportunities in the Nigeria MSME sector, Johannesburg, South Africa, July 2008, among several others. Mr. Fasanya is happily married with 3 lovely children. And as I mentioned, his full profile is going to be made available to you later, either on the chat forum, also on other social media. So with this, I bring in our guest speaker. Thank you so very much for honoring us with your presence today. You have the floor, sir.
Okay. So by way of introduction, I want us to know that more than 70% of the rural population in Nigeria are in various forms of agricultural activities prior to discovery of oil. And the non-oil sector as at 1963-64 was responsible for as much as 65% of Nigerian GDP. But along the line, this changed when the oil boom came. And then the economy of Nigeria now became dependent on the oil boom. The effect of this was the significant drop of non-oil contributions to our national GDP. When we say non-oil sector, I think we are referring to sectors outside the petroleum and gas sector. Aside guaranteeing food security, employment, resource development, and capacity to provide inputs to large enterprises, these are some of the things that the non-oil sector can do to the economy. But we decided to pay more attention to oil, while we have all sorts of other natural resources that we should have paid a lot of attention. So reports from our recent survey showed severe fluctuations in non-oil contributions. In the 80s, it was 40.2%. Between 1980 and 1985, 42%. 1995, it came down to 35.27%. And then between 2008 to 2014, it went as high as 48%. For sustainable development to happen, it's obvious that we cannot continue to depend on exogenous factors that are not predictable. What are some of the key non-oil sectors that we should note? Wholesale retail, agric and agribusiness. This is where we have the majority. Construction, telecommunication, financial services, manufacturing, and a host of other ones listed here. Transportation, R&D, information and communication technology, all these areas can boost the economy, but we choose to pay all our attention to oil, which can all know that as at present, the fortune from oil is dwindling. Nigeria's position in global economy, according to 2020 Economic Complexity Index, currently 26th largest economy in terms of GDP in US dollars, 50 largest in total exports, 48 largest in total imports, and then 148 in terms of GDP per capita, according to if it as denominated in the US dollar. Our top product exports from Nigeria. We still have petroleum as the highest, which is up to about 30 billion US dollar. Petroleum gas, which is also related to oil, is $5.89 billion. Scrap vessels, 1.29 billion. Special purpose ships, 775 million. Refined petroleum, these are all oil related. Then the countries we are exporting to, what are the size in terms of exports in dollars? To India, $46.27 billion. Spain, $4.8 billion. China, $2.54 billion. Netherlands, 2.24, South Africa, 2.17. And this is largely in terms of oil exports. What have we been importing? In 2020, we also import refined petroleum worth about $7.75 billion. Vehicles, $3.03 billion. Wheat, $2.15 billion. Packaged medicaments, $1.38 billion. Telephones, $771 million US dollars. Most imports are from China, Netherlands, USA, India, and Belgium. China tops the list with 17.4 billion US dollars. So what is the current non-oil trend as far as the economy is concerned? Non-oil exports have steadily declined over time. That is the true position of things. It reduced by 39% within a decade, according to National Bureau of Statistics Analysis. There was a total of 4.194 trillion non-oil exports recorded in 2021 and 6.914 trillion non-oil exports in 2012. In 2012, we're going back those time just to know what it is vis-a-vis what is happening currently. In 2012, Nigerian total exports amounted to 22.446 trillion. Crude alone accounted for 15.531 trillion out of that 22. No, I'm still on that page. So non-oil accounted for only 6.914 trillion out of the 22.4 trillion. So we can see the disparity. So in 2021, total exports were estimated at 19.057 trillion. Non-oil segment made up up to just 4.194 trillion out of 19.05 trillion. That's just 20.07%. So this shows us that there is a lot of gap. So the level of growth of the non-oil exports and the shares of its contributions to the nation's total exports over the period revealed that the non-oil exports total share of total exports was highest at 30.8% in 2012 and lowest is as low as 11.86% in 2015. Comparative analysis. Nigeria's non-oil export is insignificant when compared with some other countries. Nigeria's non-oil export earnings are significant when compared with other emerging economies. Insignificant, sorry. Total value of Nigerian non-oil exports in 2021 was 10.083 billion US dollars. The above was realized from more than 20 items exported to various countries in 2021, which is still abysmally low. Bangladesh, a country once touted as poor, exported knit and woven garments alone estimated at about 30 billion in the first 7 months of 2021. This is according to the country's Export Promotion Bureau. India, another emerging market, exported textiles and apparel worth 29.8 billion between April and December 2021. Vietnam, another emerging market, and 57.54 billion naira from export of phones and accessories in 2021, according to the General Department of Vietnam Customs in the country. Argentina earned nearly 21 billion for export of delivery trucks, soybean meal, according to Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. So we can see, going through this comparative analysis, that our non-oil exports is still very, very low, and we have to take deliberate attempts to make sure that we the ante. What are the challenges of MSMEs in Nigeria? According to our recent survey, why our MSMEs are not competitive, majorly is lack of access to finance. The finance is not as if funds are not there, but they are not accessible. There are a lot of Herculean bureaucratic bottlenecks that SMEs have to, even if at all if they will access. Banks don't want to touch them. So even when they have good products, they cannot go into the export market because they cannot access finance. Most of them believe that their problem is money. They don't want to invest in training. They don't want to build their capacity. They just assume once I have money, I can go into business. The issue of lack of training and capacity building, it's about 15.3% based on the survey. Weak infrastructure, 14.2%. I actually feel that this will be higher than this now. But as at the time the survey was done, this based on responses from respondents. And then inconsistent policy account for 12.5%. So we asked them, what are the top priority areas of assistance that SMEs require to make them more competitive? Majorly, there are 16.5% says is adequate power and water supply. And we also know this. These days is even more difficult. The power is not there. When people that are into production want to even serve as a local government on their own, now they cannot even afford diesel. Our MSMEs have to provide water, provide diesel, at times even provide roads to where they are doing their production. So it's really not easy for them to be competitive. Financing and financial support, 15.6%. Reduced tax. We know the issue of multiplicity of tax. It's part of the problem that MSMEs are facing. Security is a major challenge. Good transport facilities is a challenge. People cannot even get transport from farm gates to where they are going to access markets. Regular fuel supply at full rates. This is related to the issue of power. Provision of infrastructure. The power and water supply I mentioned earlier, it's still part of infrastructural challenge. So now what is the agency doing to mitigate some of the known challenges of MSMEs? We don't want to just assume that we know it all. So what we try to do, so that we will not be rolling out intervention programs from the supply end. We want to know what is happening at the demand end. So we instituted a national MSME competitiveness research, which we are doing in conjunction with Faith Foundation. So we want to be doing this annually. So based on this, we will be able to know empirically which areas that we need to give focus for MSMEs. We also, in the past 2 years now, we established a department to cater for agribusiness. So we established this department so that the departments can now focus mainly on agribusiness issues, because we know that majority of our MSMEs, more than 80% are in agribusiness. Even raw materials come from agribusiness and all that. So the departments now have a lot of programs, part of which I will mention as we go on, because we believe that if we are talking non-oil sector, agri is one of the major areas that should be given priority. And then cluster support program, it's not only garments. We are looking at clusters that are in existence, organic clusters that we are going to support. So the idea is to provide them common facilities to see how we can impact on their production, to see how we can look at their packaging and bring in experts. And then if they will need to outsource, and then to see how, if they are in a cluster, they can source raw materials together and then source market together. So these are some of our areas of focus. We are repurposing our industrial development centers. The agency has 23 industrial development centers scattered across the country. Most of these centers are there with large expanse of land that are already being encroached. The idea now is to move in entrepreneurs into those IDCs, and they will be using the place as workspace. And then we provide them common facilities. And in addition to that, we are working with the Ministry of Science and Tech to see if we can have incubation centers within those IDCs. So we'll have incubation centers. We're going to have innovation hubs, where young people can come in and innovate new businesses. And then we now have workspaces for SMEs in those IDCs. And we're already talking to some states, but even pending that, we will make sure that we allocate space to entrepreneurs. They will move in, and then we create some special purpose vehicle for the maintenance and running of the common facilities that will be in those IDCs. Matching fund, through the department that is in charge of agribusiness, last year we instituted a matching fund program where the agency will bring funds and then we match with a willing bank. And then we now defray the interest from our own fund. And then those in agribusiness can access between 2 and 5 million to possibly do production or to add value. But this is mainly for people in agribusiness. The fund portfolio as at date is about 500 million, but we are talking to some other banks. Now we are working with Jais Bank, and we have Fidelity on board, IBTC on board. We are also discussing with Zenith. So when we have enough banks, and then we believe that moving forward, because we are still largely dependent on budget. So it is what we can do is based on what government gives us. But as time goes on, we'll be able to generate some revenue, and then we'll also be able to increase our fund portfolio. But the matching fund program has started, and for now, like I said, it's strictly for agribusiness. The agency has a talent hunt program where we look at sectors, and then we do talent hunt, and then successful young entrepreneurs through the talent hunt are supported with some money, and some of them, we will be able to take them even to export level. We have the MSMEs Export Facilitation Program, which we are jointly running with the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. This program has been on for a while. These are also areas where we think we can sensitize non-oil exporters, and then we'll be able to network with Nexim so that some of them can also access Nexim facilities. We have the One Local Government, One Product program. This we have been to virtually every local government in Nigeria where we identify cooperatives, and we try to, the cooperatives that are in the same value chain, we try to assist them to automate what they are doing. For example, if you're in oil production, what we do is if you are producing 10 gallons a day, we try to now jointly identify machines that can make you produce like 20, 30 gallons a day. And then we identify markets for you. We provide the machine, and we also give you some working capital, and then you pay back 70%. We write off 30% of the facility so that we can take that 70% into some other cooperatives. But the idea is to look for products with competitive advantage, competitive and comparative advantage over some other local governments, so that we are not repeating what we are doing in one local government in another local government. We have the conditional grant scheme, which assists nano entrepreneurs. We want to see how we can inject little funds into their business, and then we now train them. And then if they perform well, they will now be able to access loan, which the agency can guarantee. And we believe by doing that, most of them are in agribusiness. So if we encourage them, at least they will be able to provide and produce raw materials and be able to expand their farming activities. We've been organizing fairs, and recently we signed MOU with Export Promotion Council to start doing regional fairs. And we intend in the next few weeks to go into the Gambia, and then we'll start going to other West African states, and then eventually maybe go to other African states, so that people with exportable products will take them out of Nigeria. We assist them to, so we believe all these will be able to ginger non-oil exports. We also have a program where we assist business membership organizations to access some little grants. So we train them, so we call it grant and growth support for these business membership organizations. So we inject some funds into them, and then we assist them, we train them, build their capacity, and see how that can assist them to, be able to be more competitive in their businesses. And then we have the National Policy on MSMEs, which currently is being implemented across the country. But what we are doing differently now is to pay more attention to implementation. An issue of non-oil exports is one of the major priority areas in the implementation plan. Currently, we are being supported by GIZ to see that we are able to implement it to the letter. We also have focal persons from all MDAs that have one thing or the other to do with MSMEs as part of the focal group for the implementation. So we believe with this, at state level, we have state implementation councils. So if we meet periodically, we'll be able to brainstorm, we'll be able to use that platform to solve some of the problems of MSMEs. Because in the states, the state council is being chaired by a governor or representative, so this means at top policy level, at top implementation level, we can get government involved. We have the National Business Skills Development Initiatives, where we train MSMEs and then we give them starter packs. We believe that all these can stimulate non-oil exports. We also believe in partnerships. And when I took the mantle of leadership of the agency, part of my resolve is to make sure that we work with relevant MDAs. I will go begging when necessary to make sure that we stoop to conquer. The most important thing is for MSMEs, for us to change the narrative in the ecosystem. So I believe working with other MDAs, let our work dovetail instead of working in silos. It will really help us to stimulate non-oil exports. And currently, like I said, we have signed MOU with NEPC. We are talking to NAFDAC to see how we can play advocacy role for MSMEs. Same thing with Standard Organization of Nigeria, CAC, we are working together, NEXIM, and a host of other relevant agencies that have one thing or the other to do with MSMEs. Next slide. What do we, so some of these are a number of our programs that we believe in the not too distant future able to enhance our MSME competitiveness. And then in addition to those programs, we want to stop issues of building capacities in the classroom. So we are going to designate all our state officers as extension workers. They will go out to go and provide business development support services for MSMEs. They will visit clusters, visit markets, talk to SMEs. What are your problems? How can we fill the gap? They will look at their products. These products are good, but you need to do this so that you'll be able to be export ready. So that we are putting more attention to provision of business development services. So we are going to, we already have a platform where MSMEs are registering. We have the MSME mass registration platform. So as of today, over 2 million MSMEs have registered on that platform, and we've given them unique number. So we now get our staff to go out to visit those people that are registered. More people are still registering. The platform is open. We have also just finished putting together a platform called Credit Information Portal. So on that portal, we will have the banks there, so that if you want to access credit, you can go on that portal and see which bank has the best funding window for you. So that credit portal will also allow the banks to upload their funding windows and their terms on that portal. So eventually, SMEs can actually even apply for funds through those portals, because we'll be working closely with the banks to make sure that at least we put the right information out there, because a number of MSMEs just fear, they don't even know now that some banks have non-collateral loans. A number of MSMEs don't know that some banks now have loans with single-digit interest rates. So that is why the gap that the credit information portal will be filling. So what are we suggesting as quick wins for non-oil exports, and where we would like to stimulate a lot of artisanal and micro people who will be able to key into some of these areas? So we are suggesting that the deliberate efforts of state governments to ease access to land, because a lot of people want to go into farming, they want to go into cocoa plantation, they want to go into cashew production, but there is no access to farmland. And even where there's access, it's always very expensive to clear the farmland. So if we can stimulate and play advocacy role for government to put up a plan to assist serious farmers to clear the land for them as a support, it will make a lot of people go into production of cash crops, which will really assist in terms of adding value and in terms of exports. Provision of common processing facilities, I mentioned this earlier, that we are trying to see what we can do with clusters to give them processing facility. We believe that this is a low-hanging fruit. We also want to stimulate a lot of off-takers. We want to sensitize a lot of, this is going to be a PPP thing. We're already meeting with some other agencies to see how to get an off-taker scheme off the ground, where proper off-taker scheme will be able to take care of when farmers produce, there should be off-takers to take it from them, and then they will also assist them to go into more production. And then, but the issue of insecurity is a big problem. People cannot even go to farms these days. So this one is beyond us, but we believe that the government is doing all it can to stem the tide in terms of insecurity across the country. Strengthening of export processing zones, this will also work with relevant agencies. Awareness creation on export standard and potentials. Our export facilitation scheme program is taking care of this, but we will do more awareness, and we will try to see how we can improve standards. Improvement in infrastructure, this is what government should do so that MSMEs can produce and be competitive with what is obtainable globally. Because the problem is that the cost of production in Nigeria is so high that you cannot even take it for exports. You won't be able to compete with those producing outside the country. Solid mineral is an area that Nigeria can invest in. There's virtually no local government in Nigeria that doesn't have one solid mineral or the other. There is a gold belt across the whole country. But the problem is getting to those mineral sites is a problem. There was a time we are trying to stimulate artisanal miners so that we can have people come in group, but it's always a problem to even get roads to get to the mining site. It's a problem, but it's an area that is there. It's a quick win. If we can put together artisanal miners, and then there's a coordinated effort to add value to solid minerals in the country instead of taking it out raw. This will really help us in terms of non-oil exports. Provision of special incentives for exports. This is very important. And then research for development of a great value chain so that people can produce things that will be needed in terms of exports. And then by way of conclusion, we believe that not all export is about competitiveness. And this is why we are committed to enhancing the competitiveness of our MSMEs so that they can be able to be competitive and be able to take advantage of the export market. We know the country, the market is large in the country, but a lot of our MSMEs are already doing backyard exports to some other countries, but this has to be coordinated. And then when their competitiveness is improved, they wouldn't be doing it through the backyard. And then competitiveness borders on price and quality, which is still a challenge to our MSMEs, mainly because of infrastructural challenges, which I had mentioned earlier. The cost of doing business in Nigeria is still a challenge. I already mentioned this, thereby not making MSMEs competitiveness enough because their products, cost of production is so high, so they cannot compete favorably with the outside world. So we believe that CBN needs to creatively support MSMEs in access to financial resources so that will be targeted at exports, not generally. There should be a special fund that SMEs can access when they want to go into export, so that we can train them, build their capacity to be export ready, and then they will be able to access such funds. Then adequate infrastructure, friendly ports, friendly port operations, and friendly regulations, especially at the port, are very instrumental to increasing non-oil exports in Nigeria. And then we should also take advantage of the African trade, the ACTA. This is something that Nigeria is still not up and doing about. I believe that this is an area we should key in now. And then if we take advantage, we'll be able to increase our non-oil export, especially within the African network. And then lastly, deliberate efforts to stimulate non-oil exports by government and the organized private sector. This will go a long way to boost the economy. The agency is committed to all efforts geared towards promotion of non-oil exports, and we welcome ideas so that we, like I said, would like to work with as many people, especially both public and public-private, to see that we boost non-oil export in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Me to clap.
Yes, I was just going to say that. You can mute yourself for a second and please clap, 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 clap. Despite the short time, he has put in so much. Thank you so very much, sir. I'm going to allow Femi Boyede to comment.
Thank you so much, Lady K, and thank you so much, DG. We commend you. I'm sure you can see in the comment section already for all these lofty programs that you are busy putting together. And I know that your list is expanding by the day. Just to mention, I know Titi Ojo is on this call and I welcome her. She's somebody who is very well aware of what I'm about to talk about. And this has to do with your energy for interagency collaboration. A lot of the challenges that Nigerian exporters, now please, let's read when I'm talking about Nigerian exporters in this edition of our program. I'm talking about indigenous, nano, micro, small and medium exporters. I'm not talking of the giant exporters now. A lot of the challenges they are facing are possible, have their solution in a very virile and well-coordinated interagency collaboration. For example, we are talking about registration of products and what have you. I'm making this comment because in your presentation, you did talk about your discussion with NAFDAC. NAFDAC does not have any reason to continue to allocate NAFDAC number to 1 million people doing the same product. Even if it is in terms of to generate revenue, a smarter move that will help Nigerian MSMEs in every country of the world is for NAFDAC to sit down with other agencies and determine a standard quality parameter for every export product out of Nigeria. Let's take, for example, Gari. Instead of allocating NAFDAC number to 1 million different producers of Gari, if NAFDAC were to work with you because you have been the one in grassroots enterprise development, women enterprise development, youth enterprise development, you know where these people are. NEPC, you have entered into that agreement. I'm privy to it, and I commend it very well. And I'm actually excited that it's going to help the MSMEs a lot. So you are already establishing a tripod. Hopefully, at some point, we're going to be able to bring Nexim into it so that MSME exporters can also go with the certificate of participation in your enterprise development program and their exporters registration certificate and go to Nexim, for example, and say we are export ready. However, back to NAFDAC. If NAFDAC decides that the standard quality allowed for Gari out of Nigeria is XYZ, and there is a sheet for this, all NAFDAC needs to do is to send this to FDA in America, to CFIA in Canada, to whatever the representative agencies are, CBI in Netherlands, and whoever they are, and say, when Gari says from Nigeria, this is what it contains.
Okay.
And then, just a minute, Lady K, please. And then, for everyone who is shipping out Gari, the same NAFDAC can now say the export certificate for this particular product that will accompany your export documentation is for $5. Every export out of Nigeria today has certificate of origin issued by NACIMA. So if we were able to do a NITPRO, an interagency meeting engagement and this, and then we come up with these kinds of ideas that will embellish and enable what you have in mind, DG. I thought to make this as detailed an illustration as possible. So permit me to say, I know that your brain works around the clock, so that something can come out in your interagency research and engagements that will make life easier for the Nigeria MSMEs. Till today, you've been a participant, an active participant of the MSME clinics that is under the office of the Vice President. Okay. And we should not shy about it. Everywhere you have gone, the major complaint has been against NAFDAC. Let's help them. Let's help Nigeria MSMEs. Now that we have you, we are going to bring our challenges to SMEDAN and hope that you are going to be able to interact with all these other agencies. Sorry I took so long.
Thank you so very much, Femi Boyede. Before he makes a comment, I know he's going to be leaving in a very few minutes. I want to quickly allow Bosun Solari and Emmanuel Macaulay to ask their questions so he can answer the questions and round up at the same time. Thank you so very much, Femi Boyede, for always being an advocate. Bosun Solari, are you there? Please, you are going to make your question very fast. Are you there, Bosun? Unmute yourself. Emmanuel Macaulay, unmute yourself. You have your hands up. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Okay, I have these two hands up. 1 second more, then, okay, Emmanuel, are you ready? Emmanuel Macaulay, unmute yourself, please. You are muted. Unmute yourself. Bosun, please unmute yourself as well. Otherwise, you can type your questions or comments. Mike Udo, unmute yourself and quickly. You have
Okay. Can I go ahead?
Please go ahead. What's your name, please?
My name is Emmanuel Macaulay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, DG, for finding time to be on this platform and
You have
all other
30
protocols.
seconds.
Yes. DG, my major challenge is we are contending with multiple taxation, over-regulation, or multiple regulation. Then there is this issue of where Mr. Boyede was raised the issue of NAFDAC and so on. There are other agencies that one single product, raw material, we have to bring into this country. We will pay for a permit as we pay 2-3 million naira for a permit to bring in the raw material, when even the custom duty, the cost of the permit is more than the custom duty that we pay. So those are challenges. One particular example is SON. With the cost of permit, at times is about as much as 2-3 million naira, which is more than even the custom duty we pay for a particular raw material. So I want you, because I raised this issue because you said that if you have to go cap in hand to meet some other agencies, sister agencies to address it, those are the challenges we already have, and it is telling very badly on us. That is my own issue. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Bosun and Mike, are you unmuted now?
Yes, okay. Yes, good evening, ma'am. I'm unmuted now. Well done,
Please,
everyone.
introduce yourself, please.
My name is Bosun Sholari. I'm a member of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I'm a farmer and an agro processor. Thank you very much, sir, for a very good job. Well done. I won't waste time again. My intervention is still on NAFDAC. What will SMEDAN help us to do? 7 countries have been allowed now to test run after. NAFDAC is allowing processors to produce only 5, to register only 5 products. If we continue like this till next year, when after maybe it takes off, how many products are we going to take to the market? And then Nigeria may soon become a dumping ground. So what will SMEDAN help us to do between now and next year, so that NAFDAC can allow, or some of us have bigger facilities that can do more than 5, but because we are micro, they are saying no. If you want to do the 6th one, they say you must migrate to small. What is the definition? It is SMEDAN that classifies, the classification is in their hand, but NAFDAC is refusing that it is 5 products. If you have to do the 6th product, you will pay 90,000. So please help us, sir.
Thank you very much. Mike Udo?
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, you have 30 seconds.
Yeah. My name is Michael Udo. I actually based in Minnesota, United States. And I own a grocery store. And I have been importing things from foodstuff from Nigeria. One of my biggest challenge is with NAFDAC. Okay. Because NAFDAC is requiring, my business partner in Nigeria to register every product. This is very, very unfair. We export more than 50 items from Nigeria, foodstuffs. And going through registration by each product, that is a very big burden to us. In America here, FDA, for instance, you only registered your facility. Whatever product that you are producing, they come for annual inspection once every year. You don't have to register every product. So please, we really need help in this area so that we can register a facility instead of the product that you are processing from that facility. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ofonash Udofia, the last question from you. Please, can you unmute this person? Ofonash Udofia. Please go ahead. Sheyi, unmuted? Okay.
Hello?
Please go ahead. You have the floor.
Yeah. My name is Ofon Udofia. I work for the Institute of Export Operations and Management. I want to thank the DG for such an opportunity. I also want to thank Mr. Femi Boyode. And I think we are meeting to continue what we've been saying over the years, sir. Not because I'm repeating issues. We were trained by United Nations International Trade Center in Tanzania as it had to do with packaging. And we've been doing that. We have over 200 women we've trained, among which some of them were the ones that showcased their product to WTO DG. Apart from even food quality, the standard of packaging in NAFDAC is a problem. You go to Akwa Ibom State and see what they've given NAFDAC number, and come to Lagos or come to Port Harcourt, there's no SOP on packaging. As I'm talking from my office. Had it been possible, I should have shown you the packaging material they use in Akwa Ibom, what they use in Rivers, what they use in Lagos, and what they use in Abuja. So I want to claim your indulgence with what we are doing so far. Can we also, apart from the product quality itself, can we also hold NAFDAC on to discuss packaging so that what you are getting in Lagos should be the same SOP what we have in Abuja, in Nasarawa, in Akwa Ibom, so that everybody, I went to NAFDAC number in one of the states, I was shocked. A clerical staff was condemning what I have done. Even the one he brought out does not have mandatory and voluntary information.
Okay.
So please, I really want to also look at that issue of packaging. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Elizabeth Nwanko, I see you, acknowledge you, but we will allow him to answer all the questions together. And if he still has enough time, Elizabeth, I will bring you in. Thank you very much. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir. You have the floor.
Unmute.
You need to unmute yourself.
No, it's not me. It's
Okay.
from the host.
We are okay now. Please go ahead.
Okay. It's from the host. Yeah, thank you very much. Well, let me appreciate Mr. Boyede for, because I think he sensitized this issue of NAFDAC, that everybody is now, that everybody now hammered on. We actually know this is a big issue. I have been going around the country. I was in Lagos last week. I was in Akwa Ibom day before yesterday. I came back yesterday to talk to stakeholders, because I want to harvest a lot of input so that we can come back to the drawing board and see how, because we have had where the shoe pinches SMEs, and then we now come back to the drawing board and see how we can help. And topmost in all the conversations have been the issue of NAFDAC and so on. So one major thing that we will do, there is a platform, the National Council on SMEs, that both NAFDAC and SON are members, is chaired by the Vice President. We are initiating a meeting very soon. This will be topmost on the agenda. The little that NAFDAC have done recently, before we started the MSME clinic, MSME clinic actually started because of NAFDAC, because the Vice President went for an exhibition at Hilton and every exhibitor kept talking about NAFDAC. So he called us to a meeting, and based on that meeting, he said, look, let's go around the country. Let's have a forum where we have NAFDAC on ground, have SON, and he wanted all the heads of the agencies to be on ground. So after the first 5 clinics, NAFDAC was able to reduce some of the costs. And that was when they also allowed that people can produce certain things in their backyard instead of having the usual specification of 3 rooms and all that. So moving forward, we intend to also take some of these things up based on facts at the highest level of government so that they can intervene. Because we will try and talk to NAFDAC, but it's better if it comes at the level of the National Council on SMEs. And if they see that what everybody is saying is this issue of NAFDAC, and then there is also the issue of NAFDAC will certify a company, SON will still ask you to come and certify, you know, based on the same product. So all these things have to be streamlined. So we will try as much to play our advocacy role, and we will see what we can do at least in the next few months. But I will discuss with Mr. Boyede. I want us to see how we can also bring somebody from NAFDAC or if possible, NAFDAC DK on this kind of program. If they agree to come on this kind of program, so that they can also hear, what people are saying. But we will try our best. Virtually most of the inputs that I had are not really questions like that. They are suggestions, and for us to see what we can do in terms of multiple taxation, which is beyond us directly, in terms of registration of products, where NAFDAC will say you cannot register more than 5 products. Honestly, it's ridiculous, And I don't see any reason, if you are like our friend from the US said, there should be a way that once you register your facility, if you are churning out 6, 7, 8 products, you don't have to that. You have to get a separate NAFDAC number for every product. These are some of the things, the feedback that we'll take away from this webinar. And I really thank everybody for their contributions. We will try and play our advocacy role, and we'll go a step further to engage at the highest level of government to see what can be done to get NAFDAC to listen to SMEs and see what they can do to relapse some of this. Because at the long run, the nation is losing, So I don't really know what will be NAFDAC gain. If what you are doing at the end of the day, the multiplier effect is negative on what you are trying to develop the system, at the same time you are bringing negative impacts to the economic system. So it's really, really an area that we will look at. Everybody, is concerned. Taxation, issue of overregulation, NAFDAC, SON, these are the major issues in the front burner, and we will take it up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Before I allow, I bring in Femi Boyede again to allow you to go.
I can still take 1 or 2 questions.
Oh, awesome. That is
Yes.
very great. I think I have Elizabeth Nwako. I saw your hand up earlier. Are you still there, please? Before she comes in, I want us to kind of try to refocus. We can see that NAFDAC is on top of the list now, yes. However, so many points were raised earlier. Some of them really attracted my personal attention. We have the non-collateral loans. People they're not really looking at that. That's huge. Single-digit interest rate. Yeah. Now the access to farmlands, helping with the clearing. I myself, I'm a victim. I got lots of land, acres and acres, and that was a big problem for me. So if this is one of the services that are being offered, advocacy loans to assist farmers, so many things being done by SMEDAN, please let's try and focus on those things for now. I believe Femi Boyede is looking at bringing him back because we really have a lot to really gain from SMEDAN. So Elizabeth Nwako, please, can you unmute yourself, or we have to unmute you?
To unmute me.
Okay, yeah, unmuted. It was very wonderful to see you again.
Okay.
Even though we don't see your face. Go ahead, please.
It's to preserve the connectivity. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for the good work you do, and thank you, DG SMEDAN. Let's focus on the NAFDAC, as we're saying. Can we talk about the laboratory aspect? Can we have NAFDAC allowed a public analyst to undo the laboratory analysis instead of them doing it? And it's taking so much of time. If you go to the medical line in UCH don't do the laboratory analysis. They give you specific laboratory that you go to that is recommended. And it is the result from such laboratory that they use in attending to patients. The same thing can be applied in terms of laboratory analysis with NAFDAC. And like they have said earlier, in terms of facility number to be used so that we can do multiple products. And in one of the things that the DG said is that there's going to be like a cluster where people can do the same thing together. I'm of that opinion that we should encourage such a thing, because sometimes some people cannot do volume. We have so many exporter certificates that are not being useful because the volume that the so said exporter can do is not more than 500 grams, maybe in a month or in 6 months. But if they work as a cluster, they're able to put together volume that can go out for sustainability. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so very much. I see some people are making comments here. Let me see if I can read one or two. Okay, I see this from Kayode and Tom from London. It says a laudable program, sir. 2 areas further to be addressed and improved upon. Number 1, private sector participation needs to be encouraged better. And there's a need for increased public awareness. Okay, and Ogbodo Okechukwu, please, can you unmute him? Ogbodo Okechukwu, and please correct me.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, you're muted already, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for gathering this very important meeting through Zoom. Thank you, our guest, the chairperson from SMEDAN. We are grateful you are here. Please, in your presentation, I heard about local government and states. Please, in the Southeast here, is there any special thing that has been done, or in terms of how the exporters and farmers could key in making use of the local governments and the states? Because most of the time, we don't see all these, your endeavors, all these, your efforts being manifested here. If there's any, please, can you please brief us? Or if there is none, please, can you, put up more efforts? Because most of the time, you people that are in some of these parastatals are trying, but the governors and the local, I don't think most of them are keen into this. Please, want you to, if you can double your effort, if there is none, so that most of these things will reach us here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Ogbodo Okechukwu. Mod AK.
Mohammed. Mod is short for Mohammed.
Okay, Mohammed AK, please. Can you unmute him? If there's another person, quickly raise up your hand so we can attend to you together.
Thank you very much, our Oga. And once again, let me congratulate you for being the DG. So my concern is, I know you are doing your best, and I like the idea of partnering with Nigeria Export Promotion Council. Now, going further, I believe we should think of hand-holding when we talk of export, because most of our SMEs doesn't have the capacity to do export in such a way that they will break even. So because in the export market, there is 2 things matters essentially: consistency. You have a product, what is the volume of your production? So what I'm trying to say is that let's look at the idea of hand-holding. If, for example, identify a market of a particular product, we can now have one person that we can train essentially on how to collect those items, from those producers, and then market it in large volume. So I believe it's one area that we should look at so as to be able to meet the target, because most of the SMEs cannot export, they don't have the quality. The
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Ofonasa Udofia.
I think he's maybe lower his hand.
No, it's a new one. He just raised his hand. Okay. Unmute yourself, please.
I can unmute. Okay, I'm there. Okay. Thank you very much once again. And please excuse me to use this word, sir. I think you are in spirit, you are a prophet, because yesterday in Port Harcourt. We just put up a small lab and a packaging center. This is a fallout of the training we did in Tanzania by International Trade Center. We came back home, we're trying to do this, but it was not possible. But some people have decided to donate some equipment for us, packaging equipment. So I also want to say we'll be willing to collaborate with you. Mr. Boyede is aware of this. I sent the pictures to him. We've acquired a 5-bedroom duplex. We have acquired some equipment, and we are also buying some laboratory equipment. The essence is that we want people that come to produce in our common facility center to also get their product tested. Why am I saying this? Like Mrs. Wanko said, going through these laboratory delays, I know I have put a product in Port Harcourt lab of NAFDA for more than 6 months, it did not come out. So not that we are trying to gain maybe glory or favor. No, sir. I actually trained in Ghana. I knew what we went through as people that were staying in a garage, their products were exported. Whereas people that have factory in Nigeria, their product cannot even leave the shores of Nigeria. Okay. So I think we are the best thing that happened to SME of recent time. So I want us to be encouraged, and we are willing to partner with SMEDAN on that. And so finally, please, when are you coming to Port Harcourt? SMEDAN has not done a program here for quite a long time. Even the SME, SME clinic has never been in Port Harcourt. Please, I'm appealing, Mr. Boyede, you are my friend. Please let it also happen here.
Okay.
I'm not
very much. So I see a comment here.
Hello.
We can't hear you, Mrs. Lady K. You are muted.
Can I
unmute yourself?
Okay.
I didn't know I was muted.
Can I respond now?
I was trying to add one more before there was one person that
I said 2 or 3
of land. We have 5 acres of land at Alamala in Ogun State. How can SMEDAN help to clear the land and get an off-taker? We want to use it for farming. And the name of the person is Mrs. M.F. Taiwo. Okay, so I'll allow you to please jump in now, sir.
Thank you very much. I think they didn't hear me well. I didn't say SMEDAN will go into land clearing. I said we will be approaching states because we know there is a major issue to come to the aid of people that are going to farming and people that are having issues of land clearing. It's not something that the agency can take on. You know, the agency is relying on budget. We are not generating any fund. We are just trying to see what ventures we can bring on board if government approves to be able to generate funds. So we don't go into land clearing, but we want to play advocacy role with some state governments, and we have been talking to 1 or 2, I don't want to mention here, who are willing to see we will build capacity, people, young farmers that want to go into farming, women, youth, they are ready to assist in that area. And we are encouraging them, even if you cannot clear the land, why can't you get tractors and other machines that can be used to clear land, and then let people get it at subsidized rates. So if you want to go and clear land, you can pay very little amount, and then you can get tractors or bulldozers to use on your farmland. So she needs to get that very clear. But we will not mind. For such people who already have land, if it is to clear it, we can play the advocacy role. Like in Ogun State, we can approach the government, okay, this land is already there. People want to go into farming, how can you come in and assist? We will be willing to do that. Then Mr. Udofia, we will come to Port Harcourt very soon. I was to even be in River State. In fact, my plan was to join this Zoom from One, but unfortunately, I want to use anywhere I go now. I use the opportunity to meet stakeholders so that I can harvest inputs into our plans. But unfortunately, it has been postponed. So I will get your contact from Mr. Boyede so that I will let you know when we are coming to Port Harcourt. But fortunately, in Port Harcourt, we have an industrial development center. And it's one of those ones that we want to turn into workspace and common facility center for SMEs. But I'm glad you have a testing center in your facility. You cannot believe that, because this is part of what we discussed yesterday in Iyo. In the whole of Akwa Ibom, there is no single testing center. They go outside the state when they have good products to go and test. So this is good information for us. I want us to engage after this meeting so that we can also pass the information across, so that we can have people who can come and, use your facilities for a fee. You let us know. And then even if it's possible, we can put it on our website that there is such facility in River State, But I think since you have brought Mr. Boyede into it, he should be able to now broker this so that we can move it forward. Mr. Obodo, I think the issue of hand-holding SMEs are part of what I said, by way of building their capacities, by identifying markets, by assisting them, to meet export potentials. And that is one of the reasons why we are talking of common facility. In fact, we are also talking to packagers so that you don't have to be the one producing and packaging yourself. You can outsource packaging from packaging clusters, So these are some of the things we are bringing on board. But don't forget that I'm just a month old on this desk, but most of these things are part of what we want to do. And like Lady K said, maybe in another 2 or 3 months, I'll come on board again. And then I'll be able to tell you categorically some of those things that I said that we have moved forward, and tell you exactly where we are. Because I want a situation where we can look back, at least within the next 100 days, and say this is what we have been able to bring on board within these few days. And I'm not a politician. I mean every word I say here. So you can take me to task by the time I come on board again. The issue of local government and states, what I also said is that we are playing advocacy with states so that states can come to the rescue, because we can't do it alone. But I mentioned that we have a program called One Local Government, One Product, that we go into local governments, we identify cooperatives with the same value chain, and then we support them with machines and working capital. They pay back 70% of what we use for machinery. We write off 30%, and then we give them training. And if their products are good enough, based on our intervention, we now assist them to get markets. And that's why we want to really encourage the issue of off-takers. So that is for local government and states. Mrs. Elizabeth also spoke about the issue of NAFDAC, which we already touched on. We can only play advocacy role as far as NAFDAC is concerned. And then the credit information portal will be able to give people information on those loans that are available, non-collateral loans, and those with single digits, because most times people don't have this information. We are also thinking that with states, we'll be able to have business information centers in all local government areas so that people can walk in, and the information center will be able to give them information that will aid their business. And like I said, our officers will be going out now. We don't have to wait until you come to us to provide business development support services. I think I've touched on virtually all the questions, but a number of them are advice, which we are going to take very seriously. One of my officers is also on the webinar, and he's taking notes so that I will not forget some of the things that we now need to take further moving forward after this webinar. We are going to do that. Thank you very much for having me here.
Okay, so do we still have like up to 5 minutes with you?
I've already added 30 minutes.
To thank him.
Okay, I wanted to know so that I may read the. Okay, Femi Boyede, you want to jump in?
Yes, thank you very much, DG. I understand that somebody who has a fire on his rooftop does not go to sleep. And that's the reason why you still enlarged your large heart and gave us an extra 30 minutes.
Yes.
I am aware that you are supposed to be somewhere already right now, but this just goes to show that you are putting your heart where your mouth is, and that is with the Nigerian MSMEs. Thank you. A few things that have gone up here that I just want to round up in one, probably one point. You mentioned cluster development or cluster engagement as one of your potential priority areas. Udofia talked about the common facility centers and how MSMEs. I remember that in the 80s, 90s, when even early 2000s, when Nigeria still had a preponderance of Peugeot automobiles on our roads. I think you were with us in Paris, DG. That time, the first DG of SMEDAN was at that time the Minister of Solid Minerals. When we did our Nigeria Investment Forum in Paris, one of the sponsors of that program, if I remember, in 2005 was a company called Orelic. Orelic had established, confirmed 29% share of the Nigerian spare parts market. But Orelic was made up of only the husband was the MD, the son was the operations and marketing manager, and the wife was the finance director. And yet, Nigerian spare parts industry in auto spare parts. So my thinking and conclusion here is that everybody here has said it. It is, I think I put it in the chat room somewhere, it will be transcribed to you. It is very, very opposite and very, very effective if you explore these clusters. In the chat room, I had asked a question, how TATRIC members can actually be brought together to form maybe your pilot cluster that you want to work with. We will appreciate that very much. It is possible. Mohamed Kotangora mentioned the issue of aggregation. The beauty of SMEDAN is aggregation and export readiness. Is now being able to go to a Walmart that will require 1 million units of anything per week. And we not having 1 million, not one company, indigenous company that can produce. So if we have common facility centers or clusters or whatever we call them, even the ones that SMEDAN itself is thinking of doing, including reviving the IDPs that are currently moribund. If we're able to put this together, and again, okay, let me use that as the last sentence, with your officer who is on this webinar, I think you should also have, I'll be very happy to honor an invitation to that. Let's put heads together and have an action plan that comes out of this, so that even if it is the SMEDAN Common Facility Center that NAFDAC, as suggested by Mr. Mike Udo, that NAFDAC now licenses or registers, people can come there and get their products, and then we can know that there are 1,000 people who can produce to this same standards. Then we can then go out and develop an export market for them. Again, on behalf of all of us, especially my technical team, I want to say a very big thank you. We don't take this for granted. And just for the information also of our members, it's part of the discussions that I have held with the DG that is ongoing, call it pipeline, but I'll be happy to announce very soon that we'll be using this platform, maybe not on the first Saturday of every month as we are doing. But what has come out now, I saw in the comment section, somebody actually sent me direct this thing that the discussion is veering towards NAFDAC. Oh yes, it is where the shoe pinches that the people are complaining about. Okay. And the person that we can see right now with us, who himself said he is committed to interagency engagement, is SMEDAN. That's the reason why they are pouring all of this on you. But when we have a plurality of engagements, we will be able to actually harvest all the challenges and then be able to go to the NAFDAC DG and say, please, we also want to help you to develop a more friendly rapport with the industry. Please come and be educating on this platform. Come and be telling MSMEs what they need to do so that the draconian challenges they are facing will no longer be there. Please, if you allow me, I'll continue till tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. We truly, truly appreciate your time today. And we allow you to say the last word and we allow you to exit. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I just want to thank everyone and to say that I've noticed that some people sent in some questions, which I'm not able to take on. If there is a way we can reach them through the platform, or if you have their details since they register, I would like to get back to everyone who has asked one question or the other. I have been able, my staff has been screenshotting some of them to me, but I really don't have time now. I have to go. But we can provide answers and see how we can collaborate, because some of them are asking for collaboration with the agency for our intervention. I would really love to get back to each and every one of them. And then I've said it, Mr. Boyede did not say anything. I want you to bring NAFDAC on this platform so that people can actually talk to NAFDAC directly. And then we'll see what kind of. So I think on that note, I will want to leave, and I will be glad to be part of this again when I will be ready to even have 2 hours or more to interact, because honestly, I like taking these feedbacks. You know, it will help us because if we are only doing programs from the supply side and we are not hearing from people, then we are not making any impact. So I really appreciate this kind of forum. And like Mr. Boyede trying to hint, we are committed to starting something, a kind of webinar. We'll be addressing MSME issues, bring in experts, and we will do this just like yesterday, because I am really committed to it. That will roll out very soon, and we'll welcome you people coming to tell us as it is. Let us know where the shoe pinches you so that we'll be able to solve the ones that we can solve and reach out to those that can solve the ones that we cannot solve. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir. You are with the right platform. We have more than enough access to the people that you really need to work with, and we are happy to work with you. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Great platform.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Femi Boyede, are you there?
I'm very, very here at your service.
Okay, so you want to take some of the questions and not really questions. I just we have some comments and acknowledge Bello Ramat Duwap from Women Chamber of Commerce, Mines and Industry. Thank you for joining. She wants to know how they can partner with SMEDAN. I think these are questions and comments that we go back to them, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Anyone has any question or? Okay, there's another one. Yeah, this is still about SMEDAN. Musadik Abdul wants to know how SMEDAN can collaborate with small and medium-sized farmers association to create commodity market, to create volumes. I think you already addressed that.
Yeah, but he is also asking the second part of this in the chat box: how can SMEDAN ensure containers that brought goods to cars to Nigeria not return empty? Can they help group or cooperative to take advantage? And I would say, while not being the authority, I will dare to opine, to offer my opinion that it is not SMEDAN. The agency with the responsibility for development and promotion of export from Nigeria is the Nigeria Export Promotion Council. And we had the executive director, CEO of that agency with us, I think 2 webinars back, and he has also opened his doors to participants from this, our webinar. So if you want have any specific ideas that you want to bounce off him, please feel free to reach out to us. We will pass that on. However, SMEDAN, as explained by the DG, has also established an export development unit. And the way that they will work, that will make it, what we call it, seamless, so that there will be no accusation of poaching or usurping another agency's work, is what the DG explained, collaboration. So SMEDAN will not be answering questions about how they are going to fill up containers. SMEDAN will be doing everything that the DG said today in his presentation to support MSME capacity to produce more, to understand the logistics more, and to access the market. That way, those containers will no longer be going empty. That's just my own way. Your question will still get to the DG anyway. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much. How can we benefit from facilities you are talking about? That's Olubukola Eniola.
Which facilities?
She said, thank you so much, sir, for your
yes,
question.
I don't know whether it is, that question is to what I have just said or what Mr. Fasanya said before he left, because I can't remember talking about any available facilities just now.
Okay, Olubukola Eniola, do you want to ask your question? We can, I can't hear you. Are you there trying to talk or something? Can you please unmute Olubukola Eniola? Hello, Olubukola Eniola. Sheyi?
If I could also offer.
She's here.
Okay.
Please ask your question.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Please, sir, we appreciate all your plan for us, SME. We thank you for your passion for us. So we want to know how we can be a beneficiary of all the plans you have for us, sir.
We will send that to the DG now.
Pardon?
I think the question is actually directed at the DG of SMEDAN.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, so just like I just said, we will pass this question on. And I think Mr. Onesi and Mr. Odueye are on this call. His SAs, they are harvesting this question and sending. But I also want to say, I don't know, maybe you came in a bit late, because in his presentation, he explained each facility and what the strategies are. Again, in his rounding off comment, he already informed you that very soon, very, very soon, we'll be having a new channel of engagement, directly sensitizing MSMEs and participants of Talking Trade about how they can access and enjoy the programs and the support instruments of SMEDAN. So please be on the lookout. And if you are on our WhatsApp group, you will definitely be getting the information.
So we have the YouTube account, we have the Facebook account, and we have the WhatsApp that is very engaging. You may want to look at the links. Click on the links for you to be able to join, especially the WhatsApp. If you click on the link, it will take you directly to our WhatsApp group. Yeah, I can see Ramat is saying yes. Thank you, just joined. Yes, we're on Facebook. Yes, thank you very much.